About 240,000 households are benefiting from the program.
Thank you very much. You may wish to resume with 7 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
So, gracias.
I thank the distinguished delegate of Zambia. And we will now give the floor to the distinguished delegate of Belgium. You have the floor.
Señora Presidenta, queremos felicitar.
Madam Chairman, we would like to congratulate you on your election. Your experience at the highest level in your government gives us trust in your work at the head of this committee. You have the decisive and firm support of my delegation.
I'd like now to introduce our two youth representatives, Ines Swarens from the Flemish Youth Council and Naomi Nsa du Conseil de la Jeunesse Francophone. They will speak on behalf of Belgium.
Thank you, Madam Chair, dear delegates and friends. My colleague Naomi and myself are honored to speak here on behalf of Belgium youth. I will focus my intervention on local youth participation, and Naomi will continue on the subject of quality education. It all started a few years ago when I was a member of the local youth council of my hometown. The local government gave us a real chance to participate, to discuss, to advise, and to influence policy making. And now, thanks to the UN Youth Delegate Program, I can represent young people at this important UN meeting. Youth participation in decision-making, as referred to in the UN Convention on Children's Rights and several youth agendas, has evolved over time. While it used to be merely about consulting young people, the concept has gained strength and eventually became a benchmark for real participative policy making. Last year, the Security Council adopted Resolution 2250, which now explicitly states that youth participation is at the heart of the United Nations and should be possible at all levels of policy making. Youth were extensively involved in designing the 2030 Agenda, which is comprised of several goals and commitments with an impact on young people's lives, such as, for example, SDG 4, 5, and 8. For the Sustainable Development Goals to become a success, it will be of paramount importance to keep youth on board. My country, Belgium, has been an example on youth participation, although funding has been under threat. So I call upon governments, the UN, and civil society to give more attention to youth participation worldwide, especially at the local community level. Local youth participation stands for development. Development of young people, but also development of society. So let's unleash the potential of the youth and make better policies together. Thank you. I will now pass the floor to my colleague Naomi.
Chère Présidente, Madam Chair, honorable delegates, youth delegates, dear friends. As my colleague Ines said it so well, let us unleash the power, the potential of youth, because today, more than ever, youth must become actors in the process of development. 22 years ago, my mother and I arrived in Belgium, suitcase in hand. My mother's sole wish was a better future for me. She wanted to give me the opportunity she never had, the opportunity to receive a quality education. Madam Chair, dear committee members, in numerous countries such as mine, youth have access to education, but this access still depends on their social background. In other countries which are victim of conflict situations, numerous youth cannot benefit neither from this access nor from this quality of education. But when we neglect these millions of young people, we are also neglecting the Convention on Human Rights, the Convention on the Rights of the Child, and the right to education as a whole. This is why, Madam Chair, committee members, we must unleash the potential of youth. Because if we want young people to effectively participate in the societies of today and tomorrow, if we want them to become the driving forces of development and peace, as described in Security Council Resolution 2250, these young people must be equipped with a quality education. And this education must be founded on knowledge, professional training, and personal development. In other words, an education whose fundamental values promote the principles of solidarity and togetherness. Of course, inequality persists in Belgium as elsewhere, but numerous initiatives are underway to address this. This is why Belgian youth call upon the states and governments present here at the UN to invest in this quality education and to be aware of the fact that without equal access to quality education, this goal will not be achieved. Here, Ines and I have come here with suitcases in hand with the wish of seeing the participation of youth in building a better future become a reality instead of remaining an objective by 2030 so that we can build a more just society.
I thank the distinguished youth delegates from Belgium. Please, I would remind you to keep an eye on the clock and stick to the 5-minute time limit. I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of Qatar. Madam, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At the outset, allow me to extend my congratulations to you for chairing this committee, and we also extend congratulations to all the Bureau members, and we wish you all success. We also align ourselves with the statement of the Group of 77 and China and the Friends of the Family Group. We should also like to appreciate the report, the efforts made in the preparation of the Secretary General report under this item 26. The adoption of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development with its ambitious and promising goals and targets is an impetus for international community and the member countries to deploy tireless efforts to achieve sustainable development for all. The social integration aspect is of special importance in view of the unequal human development level in different parts of the world. Social integration plays an important role in achieving the social development goal in both developed and developing countries. Thus, Qatar has adopted a people-centered approach in our national development plans in order to provide an adequate environment to ensure social development to all segments of society without exception, and to eradicate poverty and provide high-quality education for all, and to expand the employment opportunities to all youth, women, the aging, and persons with disabilities. Madam Chair, we commend the efforts made to integrate disability issues in the 2030 agenda so as to leave no one behind. In that connection, Qatar has been very keen to include the disability-related matters in our national development plans, and we have endeavored to remove all obstacles in the way of persons with disabilities in order to benefit from all development programs and all forms of public services. The group of the aging persons is a main segment of society and is accorded special attention by Qatar. Policies and programs have been developed to integrate them effectively in society and to provide them with healthcare services to ensure and social protection to ensure a decent living for them and their families. Madam Chair, we note the worrying statistics in the report of the Director General of UNESCO, Literacy for Life. We remain optimistic, though, that the ongoing international efforts to combat illiteracy can be enhanced to achieve this goal. As we believe that education is a key to development, we continued to develop innovative initiatives at national, regional, and international levels, such as the initiative by Her Royal Highness Sheikha Musa bint Nasser to create the education above all institution with aim to protect and promote the right to education in crisis and conflict-prone areas, as well as educate a child initiative to provide a quality primary education to 10 million children around the world by 2016. Madam Chair, as the family is the basic component of society, we have adopted the policies to protect the family. And the National Vision Qatar 2030 aims at expanding the social safety net for families and increase the support to families in special conditions and circumstances. In that regard, we have also developed awareness programs to emphasize the importance of intergenerational family ties. And we also play an important role in view of the importance of the role of the family in achieving sustainable development. And we have continued to facilitate negotiations of the third committee resolutions for over 12 years now. We also accord special attention to the youth, and we deploy ongoing efforts to integrate them in development and to provide them with the ability to be creative and innovative. We believe in the importance of youth in development, and we have strived to implement different initiatives and to establish different institutions to include them and to explore and to explore all their potentials and to unleash their potential. We will continue also to work to protect the youth from violent extremism at all levels, and we look forward to more cooperation and collaboration as well as partnerships to achieve our common goals. Thank you.
Y concedo ahora el uso.
I thank the distinguished delegate of Qatar. I now give the floor to the distinguished delegate of Canada. You have the floor.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, my name is Hassan Syed, and I will be delivering the statement on behalf of Canada, followed by my colleague, Delia Tahira Alix, who will be delivering a statement in French. It is an honor to represent Canadian youth right at the heart of global diplomacy. As young people, we are part of the largest and most influential generation in human history. We are highly educated and highly connected. Great changes in global geopolitics, the environment, economics, and technology have further inspired young people to better understand and engage with the world around them. It is important to harness the energy and passion of youth and channel it positively towards the betterment of global society. We are here today to share Canada's progress in the development of young people and provide our recommendations for the further advancement of youth globally. First, it is important for countries to recognize that the imagination, energy, and ideals of young people are vital for the continued development of society. The recently elected Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, has mandated a national focus on youth development and identified himself as a Minister of Youth. The Prime Minister's Youth Advisory Council was also created to provide advice on national issues such as employment, access to education, climate change, and sustainable growth. We encourage such consultations with youth and the development of strategies to engage young people at the regional, national, and international levels. Secondly, it is important to foster an environment of equal opportunity and one free of discrimination, stereotypes, and intolerances. A fair and equitable society is one that provides an equal footing for all youth, regardless of their social economic statuses. An environment of equal opportunity for all youth is one where there is a zero tolerance for discrimination of any kind, whether on the basis of nationality, age, gender, ability, economic status, belief or sexual orientation, and gender identity. I would like to pass on the floor to Delia to conclude her statement in French.
Madame la Présidente,
Madam Chair, distinguished delegates. Third, it is important to promote participation in quality education, to develop workforce-ready skills, and to support youth entrepreneurial initiatives. Partnerships between industry, government, and educational institutions ensure students learn inside and outside the classroom and develop workforce-ready skills. The prosperity of a nation is depending on the productivity and innovation of its workforce, which relies on the training and schooling of its youth. We encourage partnerships with educational institutions, investment in quality education systems, the creation of employment opportunities for youth, and support for youth-led innovation. Young people in Canada recognize that we're fortunate to live in a society where respect of fundamental rights, rule of law, and accommodation of differences prevail. Canadian youth are motivated to work with our counterparts locally and globally to ensure that youth everywhere are able to thrive. Finally, as a message to all youth, remember to always challenge your leaders, your friends, your colleagues, and your professors. And most importantly of all, to challenge yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you to the two youth delegates from Canada for your statements. Let me now give the floor to the distinguished representative of Iraq. Distinguished delegate, you have the floor.
السيد الرئيس نتقدم باسم وفد جمهور
Madam Chair, on behalf of the Iraqi delegation, allow me to congratulate you on assuming the chairmanship of the Third Committee of the General Assembly. We also congratulate the members of your Bureau, and you can count on our collaboration so that our work here is a success. Iraq places a great importance on human rights issue and specifically social development. For example, Iraq was one of the first countries to adopt the International Pact on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights in 1971, which reflects the importance that Iraq places on the values and principles contained in this pact. In addition, the Iraqi constitution assures the preservation of the family unit, the protection of youth and older persons, and to provide